I believe in investing in yourself. So I'm going to the conferences, I'm going to the masterminds, I'm going into the places where I need the information.
They catering everything to Black women. We spend the most money. We do these different type of things. But what happened if we come together? And then God just took it to a whole nother level, because I was like, wow, this is really serving women making history in real time. And they're not necessarily celebrities or influencers, but these are everyday women that are doing great things. Now,
one thing you said that I really resonate with is that God gave you that vision, because that's exactly what happened to me in Community Cultivation Network.
I was doing business in 5th grade. Everybody was like, oh, get a job, be a lawyer, be a doctor. Like, even my parents, I'm a first generation entrepreneur.
Wow.
And so I think now it's more glorified, but the work of it and the process of it is not being seen.
In the slow seasons, or the seasons where God is like changing or having you sit and isolate with yourself, and you think about those things, you're like, that was pretty cool. The worst thing that you could do is make a mistake. And at that What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Jazmine J, and welcome to Business Talks with Jazmine J, where we talk all things business, the good, the bad, the ugly, the wins, the successes, the strategy, the pivots, all the things. We like to keep it transparent and real. So today, y'all, I don't know if y'all ready, but I'm ready. We have a force in the building, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself and all the things that she's doing to make a difference. What's up, girl?
Hey, what's up? I'm Tiara LaRae Johnson. I am the founder of TLJ Agency, an innovative branding firm, and we represent thought leaders. And also, I am the co-founder of Girl Boss Suites. It's the #1 platform for networking and collaboration amongst women in business, and I'm just super excited to be here today.
I love that. I love that. So it's so much that I want to unpack when we talk about strategy and things like that. But before we get into that, you're just coming off of Women Making History.
Yeah.
You know, in a tour. I think you did it in multiple places. Yeah. So can you just tell us about that as a whole? Like, what was it about, and how you felt about the success of it, and how did it come?
So the first time I did Women Making History was back in 2017. And I did it at Atlanta City Hall. And I was like, oh my God, this is so good. But I don't really realize the magnitude of the things I do until they happen. And so, you know, the pandemic and different things happened. And I realized, like, dang, I need to create something for women outside of Girl Boss Suites. And I'm like, oh, you already did it.
Yeah.
First Female Entrepreneurship Day. And that came along because Women Entrepreneurship Day was already taken and they weren't very collaborative. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just have to start something else because I think this is a great idea. And so Women Making History came, and at first I kept calling it Female Entrepreneurship Day, but then my partners was like, no, Women Making History is a thing. And then God just took it to a whole nother level, because I was like, wow, this is really serving women making history in real time. And they're not necessarily celebrities or influencers, but these are everyday women that are doing great things. Now, some of them might have, you know, a lot of followers or things like that, but it's more so about what they're doing to serve the community. And it was like, I created a platform to really honor women doing the things that they're called to do in real time. And I was like, this is very powerful. I need to make it bigger.
Definitely very powerful. You know, we partnered to do a panel of for the first day of the HTX, Women Making History. And it was like...
It came out very good.
It came out really good. And I think creating rooms where women feel comfortable enough, you know, to express themselves, to talk to each other, to connect. Because the everyday women that's making it happen, they don't always get the recognition. So I just think that's so important to say, hey, we see you, girl. Yeah. We see what you're doing. Let's bring you to the forefront.
Yes. And that's exactly what it's all about. And honestly, it was just a vision that God gave me. Like, I kept I seen so many cycles of women empowerment.
Yeah.
First, you know, Ladies Who Brunch ATL was like the first group I seen that started the whole collaboration over competition thing. But I think that it was a little bit before its time.
Yeah.
And so these groups were happening, but then it got really showy. It got real celebrity, and like people were paying for these conferences and these events, but they were taking nothing out of it. So I think that now is the time to bring back authenticity in business, because it's not as easy as people are making it seem. When I first wanted to be an entrepreneur, nobody was talking about entrepreneurship.
Nobody.
Like, I was doing business in 5th grade. Everybody was like, oh, get a job, be a lawyer, be a doctor. Like, even my parents, I'm a first generation entrepreneur.
Wow.
And so I think now it's more glorified, but the work of it and the process of it is not being seen. So I believe that that's what they get from our platform, Girl Boss Suites, is that, no, it ain't easy. And me personally, I try to tell people that all the time too, like, no, like, it's not easy. Yeah, so I just want to bring back the authenticity of entrepreneurship and community and tribe.
And that's what this whole platform, Business Talks with Jazmine J, is about, because I too see where people promote entrepreneurship, or they only show you once they've made it.
Yeah.
But where are the people, you know, where's the stories when you didn't have it all together? You didn't wake up overnight and have this successful business. You know, there's things that happen, learning opportunities, things where you have to pivot and things of that nature. And I feel like those are the conversations that aspiring entrepreneurs need to hear.
Exactly.
Not that, oh girl, I made $35K
I woke up with
last
a Lamborghini.
night. Yep, like cut it out.
Yeah.
So one thing you said that I really resonate with is that God gave you that vision, because that's exactly what happened to me in Community Cultivation Network. So can you talk to me about the difference of when you've gotten a vision from God and trying to execute that vision, and then when you have your own vision
and try to curate it myself?
Yes.
I would just say, like, even the transition from Atlanta to Houston, everybody was like, Atlanta's a city. Why would you leave Atlanta? And I was like, well, it wasn't to reinvent myself, because most people move to different cities and become somebody else.
Yeah.
I moved to Houston to expand my business. And then the goal was for me to go to LA in 3 years. But, God obviously has other plans. I'm still in Houston. But I'm still going to other cities and doing different things. I think that a lot of times, oftentimes, people, when it gets to the point where you can't do it by yourself no more, then that's how I know that God gave it to me.
Yep.
If it's getting easy for me, then I know I'm not operating in what He has for me. So, like, I knew that Girl Boss Suites, I thought it was a co-working space. Had spaces, got approved for things I shouldn't even have gotten approved for, had money and built things that shouldn't have happened to me, because I knew that was the seeds being planted. But the overall vision wasn't even a space. And so when I realized it's not the space, it's the community and the connectivity and the collaborations is what drives my platform, then I realized, okay, cool. Like, I try to do it on my own. Yeah. But it wasn't working, because that's not what God gave me. God gave me the fact that they need to put me number one in their businesses. And so this is the platform. And so it wasn't until I was like, you know what, God, I'm going to just give it to you, that I started to see the vision so clear. And then my team came in, and they were just like, well, you did all this on your own. Yep. So now I can send you the help for it, because you did what you had to do to get off the ground. So I believe when God has something bigger for you, you're no longer going to be able to do it by yourself. When it's just for you to do, you're going to get it done.
Girl, listen, because with Community Cultivation Network, I mean, a lot of people that listen to my show kind of know my story. But when I was given this vision of CCN, my very first thing that I wanted to do was build a team. Now, listen. We had a product, but it wasn't solid. Yeah. We didn't have any clients, and I was already building a team. And I'm surrounded by entrepreneurs and business owners, so everybody advised against it. Yeah. Like, you need to be figuring out this. What are you going to sell this?
How you
start making money first.
Like,
But I didn't really understand either. But it was like, this is what God told me to do. Like, when He gave me the vision, it was full. I had to pull over on side the road, and He poured it all the way in, from the name to who to call, like all of those things. And now, 3 years later, I'm proud that I stood in obedience, you know, because now it's all coming together. Now what we're doing today, without a team, it just definitely wouldn't be possible.
Yeah. And then that's the thing, standing in your obedience, because obedience is not easy.
No.
It's hard. You have to let people go. You have to, grieving the loss of a loved one is hard, but grieving the loss of a friend or somebody close to you in business when they supposed to be with you and they just decide they're not doing it no more. Like, that happens to me so much. Even people that approach me like, oh, I see what you're doing, I want to help you. Like, let me help you. But when they start, when things start happening and it's not as glamorous and they like, oh, I can't do it. So now the team that I have is solid. Like, we're going to be with you when we in the negative, and we're going to be with you when we in the positive, because they understand, like, being connected to a person that has vision is going to change their lives too. But like, that team thing, you don't start with the people you don't finish with the people you start with. Yeah,
absolutely. I talk about Apple all the time, and I'm like, I know when they first got started, like, just the culture of Apple, like, they sell phones, that's what they do, but it's much bigger than that. Like, they were creating a whole new wave, a whole new culture of things the way they thought. They in Silicon Valley with their shorts on and flip-flops.
Right.
Who was doing that? Yeah. People thought you had to put a suit on to go, So just, like, really connecting with that team and all agreeing on one thing and building from there. And once you are aligned at that level, you can start doing all kinds of things. We can sell media. We can sell Coke. We can sell chairs, whatever. Yes. So I definitely want to kind of go into strategy with your businesses, because you are a serial entrepreneur. So you have multiple businesses. So let's start with TLJ Agency.
Yes.
So in the business strategy behind that. So tell us about the agency. What makes your approach to branding and strategy stand out for your clients?
Because a lot of people think that branding is design and visual, and that's a part of it. Yeah. Branding is more so like your positioning, your strategic messaging, like your who, what, when, where, and why. Yeah. And so that's what a lot of people have confused, where, oh, well, I thought you were just going to do my graphics and do what it looks good for me. I think that if you don't have the science behind why you have those colors or why you're saying the things that you're saying, that's why people get publicists and get different people and they confused or they don't know what they're talking about. Like branding really gives you what to say about yourself, like your mission and your vision. Like you got to know what to say.
Yeah.
And I've ran into so many clients that'll be like, oh, well, I just need you to do this for me. I don't need you to do that. And then I end up having to backtrack.
Yep.
So being successful in my business, now I have to backtrack and slow it down and fix my systems because people think they prepare for something they're not prepared for.
Yep.
Or say they want to be a coach or a mentor or whatever. And we cater to thought leaders and personal brands. And they say they want to do all these things and then get on camera and freeze or get on stage and be like, well, I don't know what else to say. And that grinds my gears. So I have a trusted process that works. And that process is you have to know who you are.
Right.
In order to build a brand or a business. If you don't know who you are, then the logo ain't going to hide the fact that you insecure in these areas. A website ain't going to, and you making money and speaking ain't going to fix the fact that you really not confident in certain things. Like you really got to get down to the mental. And so the process that I work for my agency is that we first focus on the mental side of why are you even doing this brand? Do you even have the capacity? Or are you prepared for even taking this brand to the next level? And then we talk about your messaging and your positioning. Then we go into your visuals and your speaking engagements. And some people don't think that process is slow. But I just have been doing this for so long, you have to slow down and speed up.
And I think that's so important, especially when you're talking about the type of clients you serve.
Mm-hmm.
When you have kind of figured something out, you know it works, then you recognize maybe everyone is not your clientele.
Yes.
Because you'll be doing that back and forth. Okay, I'll just do this. Then next thing you know, you got to backtrack and do all the things. And when it comes to brand, I talked about this on my last show. It's like, it starts with you, like you said. You got to get to know yourself and why are you in this purpose? Like, who are you here to serve? What problem are you here to solve? And if you don't know that, then it doesn't matter what color logo.
Right, your photo shoots, you're going to be frustrated. We can't even get you past if you're not mentally ready for like what you're about to do because my agency, we think big. Yeah. So we want to figure out how we can make this brand last longer than you. Like I've literally monetized brands with nothing. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, you tripping. Some people just so uncomfortable and they wrestle with themselves. Yeah. And unfortunately, like in a consulting business, you kind of got to deal with that. Like, but I think I'm graced for this, but it took me a minute, like a pruning season. I had to fix my temperament. I had to take my emotions out of business. So I now understand why I'm in the place I am now because it's just a whole process. Yeah. You know?
For sure. So with your agency as a whole, I know we talked about your clients, but did you all have all your branding together when you started or was it a process?
No, I started when I was 21 in Georgia State University and my homegirl did logo. So I was like, make me a logo. And I started off as a creative consultant. And that was just because I had a lot of internships. Like I did Real Housewives seasons, First of the Seasons, Loving Hip Hop, Tardy for the Party, all these shows I was working on. And I was just like, I want to fuse this, but I also want to fuse like the design and the look and feel. Like, what is this? And it turned out to be branding. But when I first started, I was way ahead of a lot of people, but I was still behind. But nobody knew because nobody was talking about branding and PR and all that stuff back in like 2013. Everybody was talking about what job they was going to get. And so I had to start at a time where nobody knew that what I didn't have because it wasn't nothing created. Yes. And so, I started off with just a logo.
So some of your experiences, what you went through is what has helped you build what you offer your clients?
Mm-hmm. That's definitely for sure. Because I started off doing red carpets and PR. And I was like, these people want publicists, but they don't have their logos, their websites, nothing together. Like nothing is together. Right. So I'm like working very hard to get these people PR. And they're not ready for it. So I was like, well, let me focus on the look and feel of it and the messaging and teaching people how to talk on camera. And then what are your dreams and goals and aspirations? Because you could tell me that you want to build a business for this, but is this really what you want to do? And so I started having dream sessions. And in those sessions, I realized that it's not even what you want to do. You're just doing it to be doing it. And so like, I really
saw somebody else do it.
Yeah. So I think that getting down to the mental side of it is a big deal. And that's why I incorporate that into my business because I don't want to waste my time or theirs.
Love that. So how do you approach product development and turning the idea into a successful brand when it comes to your clients?
I love products. I think that products are a necessity, especially when you speak and you enter a lot of rooms. Yeah. And so that's what caused me to create the networking game and different workbooks that I have because it's just easier. And then if you are speaking or building a brand or on these platforms, why would you not be selling something? Exactly. And so product development to me is a no-brainer. Yep. Like that automatically comes with having a brand and then how the product looks. So like, let's invest a little bit more in the banners and our cards on the table and how things look in a staff presentation. And with those take budgets, of course, but I realize the people that really want it are going to invest that. Exactly. And that's also have been a pivot in my business because it's like we saying no to a lot of things, not just for the money. Because if I wanted the money, I know I would be a billionaire probably by now. Right. But like really taking my time and being like, hey, if you're not willing to invest this, then we're not a good fit for you. Yeah. at first you feel like you losing because it's like, man, I'll be having more money. But then you be like, nah, my peace of mind.
Peace of mind, girl. And you know what? With product development, for me, as somebody that is building my personal brand outside of my businesses, is that I had to look at what I was doing. So I believe in investing in yourself. So I'm going to the conferences, I'm going to the masterminds, I'm going into the places where I need the information. And when the people would come up there and I felt connected to them or I felt like I could learn from them, when they got off stage, I'm like, you got merch? Now, I don't really care what they merch look like. I want to buy it because I'm into what you're saying and I want to support it. And then it hit me. It was like, so when you get off stages, you ain't got no merch, you don't have no product, and that's what started me to want to do this particular show and start building my strategic planner. Because strategic planning is what helped me elevate my life and all my businesses and as a mother. And so I'm like, I need to take this formula and I need to print it out and sell it to people because it works. And at the end of the day, everybody's not going to go through the planner and plan it out. And that's their loss, honestly. But there are people out there that really are ready to execute and they just need the tools.
Yeah, a strategic planner is really lit though.
Yeah, definitely. It's coming, girl. Okay. So, yes, for sure. All right, so we talked about this in the beginning, but let's go back to women making history. So what places did you go this year?
So we went to Atlanta again. That's a no-brainer. And then we added Detroit. It was a little bit of different of a city with the politics and things like that and the women. And I can see the need for collaboration over competition and some people just being so protected of their business and brand that they don't realize that they're, doing things a certain type of way. So I'm like, wow, like we view women's empowerment very different because it's around us. Yeah. But there's people in other cities that really don't have that. And so when you coming in and you trying to do that, they're like, no, this and that. And I was like, God, I know you took me to Detroit for a reason, but it was very hard. Yeah. It was very hard dealing with the personalities and different things like that. And we also came back to Houston and did a week in Houston. So I see that people need to see women collaborating in real time. Yep. So I do see this going to different states and different countries because Women Making History was like, dang, you honor my homegirl. Yep. She been doing hair since she was 7. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, really like, dang, like, maybe I need to broaden my horizons. Maybe I need to be more open to meeting women. Cause like, we really on right now. Yep. They catering everything to Black women. We spend the most money. We do these different type of things. But what happened if we come together? Like, unstoppable force. So it's hard. Because, but I feel like when we keep driving that force of collaboration and prayer and empowerment, like it's going to change the world. Yeah. So let's unpack that, saying that it is hard, because I think these are the conversations we don't have. So definitely it's hard trying to collaborate, especially amongst a lot of women. Yeah. So you personally, what are some of the tools or some of your steps when that is happening? When you do get frustrated or you see the different personalities are like conflicting, what do you do? One, I have to pray. Yeah. And I've learned to don't respond when it first happened. I take a step back. I think about it because I'm a real blunt person. Yeah. And I realize my delivery can be off. So I have to take a step back and I have to pray about it. And then it's crazy because I'm in so many different women's circles. And so sometimes they'll be like, oh, well, I don't like her. She did this to me. She did that to me. And I'd be like, well, what does it have to do with your business? So I had to learn to listen to both sides and come up with the solution for both parties. And the last situation I was in, I was like, hey, at the end of the day, we're all women in business. That's the bottom line. You should call her and talk to her. You should do this or you should do that. So I've built a way to, because people ask me all the time, how do you work with so many women? I built a way to respond and like not feed into people in the moment, give people grace, because oftentimes people like are going through something that have nothing to do with this situation. But you, the person that is coming out of, and I had to even have a conversation with my partner, like, girl, that shouldn't have made you react like that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I just really feel like I'm graced for this. You ever just feel like something is your thing? Like outside of prayer and not giving up, that's really the solution. Yep. I would have to agree. I too, the same thing is taking that step back. And I've had to learn that because I fire off, like, definitely. I'm telling you, I had kids at a young age that messed me up. So it was like, I just had a low tolerance for certain things. And so I would be calm. I wouldn't say anything. And then I'm, yeah. And people think you're crazy, but you're really not. Exactly. So I had to learn, like, okay, take a second, step back, think about it, pray, and then pivot or approach it the way that you feel is best. Right. So what were some of the most powerful moments that you witnessed during the tour of Women Making History? So one of the most powerful moments is that Shayna Wilson Williams, she sings "Give Me You." It's a very popular gospel song, and like I was able to give her her first award.
Wow.
And I ended up stepping out of Detroit to go pick up something from downstairs, and everybody was like waiting the program for me, and I was like, "No, keep the program moving." And I don't know what happened. Like some girls started praying and crying, and she was singing, and I was like, dang, like sometimes I'm building these rooms just for one person to get a breakthrough, or one person to get a moment. So I love the fact that in every room that we had, God was spoken of very highly. Prayer went forward. Like I never compromised on that. And even when people, some people make the statement like, "Oh, it's a revival or is this an event?" That stuff like that don't ever bother me because you have to be so unapologetically living in your purpose and trusting God, no matter what rooms that you in. So I think one of the most powerful things for me was just seeing these girls pray. Even though they might have just got into an argument or just had a little bad attitude, but them coming together and like praying and being like, "Oh, we got this. Give me a hug. Let's." It was just the spirit of collaboration and the thing of like, no, I know God got me. Like that just was. I think that's the best moment out of the whole experience.
Definitely. Even with the panel that we collaborated with together here, when I got off stage, the lady who did the board, the food.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she walked up to me and she was just like, "Thank you." And I was like, "You're welcome, love." I'm thinking she's saying, just for the event.
Right.
And she was like, "No." She was like, I like to prophesy. So she's like, "Is it okay if I speak to you?" And I'm like, "Speak on."
Yeah.
And she was like, "God uses your voice. Like when you speak, we can really see the work that he's done in your life." And that meant a lot to me because that's my first time meeting her.
Right.
And I'm just up on stage really speaking the truth and the things that God have put me through and what he's done for me in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all I'm doing is speaking my truth, and for it to affect people the way that it is, that's game changing. So I'm the same in that. Like God is a part of my business. This is his vision.
Yeah.
And he's very much a part of what we're doing. And so that's there. And people that can't really accept it, like, I'm okay. Maybe this isn't the media company for you. For sure.
Yeah.
So my last question about that specific topic is, how did each city bring a different energy, and what did you take away from those experiences?
Atlanta always bring like that Black excellence, celebrity energy. Like, this is cool. We had a great time. Let's take our pictures, get our content. Detroit brought that new energy, like, wow, we can all be in the same room. I didn't know something like this exists. Like, we're excited. And then Houston just brought that energy, like, yeah, like, this gonna work.
Yeah,
we can take this to the next level.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what all the different cities contributed.
Okay. All right. So Girl Boss Suites and collaborative leadership. Girl Boss Suites is all about creating space for women to thrive together. Why was it important for you to co-create this kind of environment?
Because it happened to me all the time. Like, even from like me growing up, when I used to do group projects, I used to be like, okay, we're gonna do this, and that. I always knew how to put people in their strengths.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what helps me, because I could be talking to you and be like, "Oh, you need to meet Jazmin." Or I could be talking to this person and be like, "Oh, you need to go there." Like, it's just in me to naturally connect people.
For sure.
And I see so many people that's business partners now working together, and I'm like, this is just a little bit of the energy coming from me. So imagine if it's hundreds of women doing that. And I think that's what keeps me going, because I can see the strengths in people sometimes they can't see it in themselves.
Yes. That's very true.
And so it started with me, because that's just naturally who I am.
Yep. Love that. So what role does collaboration play in your journey, and how do you teach others to embrace it over competition?
I'm good at what I do. So I'm in my own lane.
Yeah.
So nothing distracts me from that, or nobody makes me feel intimidated. Like, sometimes I might be like, okay, girl, you could do this better.
Yeah.
Or you could have more money here or do things there. But all in all, like, I'm in my own lane. So I can't be distracted or feel intimidated by anybody else. And I think that's the confidence that allows me to walk with other strong women. Because I'm going to let you do what you're good at.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to jump on the production side and your venue side. I'm going to stick what I'm good at. And I feel like if more women thought like that, like, who cares if this happened back in the day and this drama, like, none of that matters when you need somebody in order to be successful. So for me, it's like a no-brainer. Like, if you a strong person in this, I'm a strong person in this.
Yep.
Why not?
Exactly. And I think as people, we just need to be more open to collaboration, because even if you go back to the Bible and just how things are, everything that was successful was not one deep. Like, nobody's getting you cap out.
Right.
You do it on your own. Yes, you may make a lot of money, but you're going to stay there. Once you hit that 6 figures, that's it.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the team or the people that help you scale. So I wish more people would open their mind to collaboration, but I feel like in my everyday work, I'm doing that. You know, like I show collaboration at its highest level with everything that I do, because I'm showing you, hey, it works. It definitely works.
In real time. Yeah.
Yep. So what advice would you give a woman who feels like they have to do it all alone? Stop. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's it's hard to delegate things when you inside your dream. Like, I can relate to that. Like, it wasn't so easy for me to be like, you know, I'm just now getting to the point where I could be like, all right, you go to this, you can set that up. And sometimes I'm still a little disappointed because it's not done exactly how I would do it. But I have to learn that I can't do it by myself. So I'm just going to have to make it a coachable moment. So, like, you're not wrong for feeling like that because it's your baby. Yeah. But if you want to go to the next level, you just give a little bit at a time. Like, okay, I'm going to give you this Instagram password. But if you mess it up.
Exactly.
Like, you know how much to give people. You know, so like, but you can't not give it because you're going to have everything inside of you. And then it's, you know, we're meant to procreate, not just as mothers, but just businesses and visions and things like that. It's not going to matter if your kids can't take this over if something happened to us. It's not going to matter if I can't pass on TLJ Agency or get another president. None of this work will matter. So it has to be able to, you know, happen again. It has to be able to keep going and live past us. And I think that's my biggest thing, like, of why I chose to delegate, because ain't no way I can pass away with all this in me. Like, I have to delegate, you know?
I think one of the key things that you said was the coachable moments. And that's what I always talk about. Like, I was just talking to our director this morning, and I was like, listen, I'm a leader that empowers other leaders. Right. Like, the worst thing that you could do is make a mistake. And at that point, we learn from it. And then even me as a CEO, like, if I'm going to put the basis of what I want. So I'll tell you what the structure, like 3 people, 1 event, such and such. But as far as the creativity and how you build it out, I'm empowering you. Yeah. But as we're doing this, I'm recognizing, okay, I need to add this. I need to tell them, don't do this. You know, the coachable moments is what's very, very important. And that's what helps where you feel more comfortable. Once you're coaching them up, then you get trust. Yeah. When you have trust, it's much easier to delegate. But I think a lot of people don't want to bring in teams, or they have a hard time delegating because they don't trust the people they're with, and you don't trust them because you haven't taken the time to train them and invest in them.
Frustrated, you know what I'm saying? But I think all the time too is, like I said, grace. And I worked at Waffle House, so that's a different type of employees to have to manage, right? Yeah. And so now it's like I be expecting things to just go my way because I feel like I'm working with a different caliber of people, but people really just don't understand. Like, we had staff yesterday, and they were just like, "Well, you go straight to the finish line. We need this, and that." I'm not a this, and that type of person. I feel like just pick up on it. But now that I'm a leader, I'm realizing, like, I have to break things down. So now I have to create manuals and create books so that I can stop myself from having to say the same things over. But then again, sometimes I do feel like I wanted it bad. So when I was in positions to work with a leader, I did what they wanted me to do because I wanted to be successful. Yep. So some of that is, I'm going to tell you 1 or 2 times you're going to make 1 or 2 mistakes, but you still need to have that initiative because I had that initiative. So I think it's just like, it's a balance.
Yeah, it's definitely a balance. And it gets all off into HR, policy and procedure, and those things that people can really Google and get the information. But there's a process, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a warning, then, hey, now we're having a different conversation. After that, it's a wrap. Yeah. You know, so all of those type of things. So I want to transition to our last segment, which is the thought leader segment, because I bring on CEOs and founders and people that are doing similar things, you know, and so I want to always give them an opportunity to really, like, speak to their audience, you know. So when it comes to entrepreneurship and leadership, what's one thing you believe every woman entrepreneur needs to be successful, not just in business, but in their mindset?
I think you need to have a plan for the future, like personal and business, and like plan ahead. I know that sounds so cliche, but we really don't plan ahead a lot. And I'm saying we isn't everybody. Like, I'm just getting to the point where prepare for Q3 and Q1, like, because you be moving so fast, but you really have to have a plan. Yep. In place. And it might not hit everything you want to hit, but that plan keeps everybody on the same goal. And write it down, because my plan in my head might be different from yours. And if I'm trying to communicate it, but I don't have it written down, then I can't tell you where I want to go. So I think the first thing is you really got to have a solid plan for where you want to go.
So I think this is a perfect opportunity to plug my strategic plan. It's coming, but that's what it's about. And it's broken down. So how I do my strategic plan is a 5-year plan. But the 5 years, just put your thoughts out, say where you want to be in 5 years, but then we're going to backpedal to 1 year. What are we doing this year? Then we take that and break it down in quarters. And that's how I operate. Like, we just finished the first quarter. We're in day 2 of second quarter. And so there's certain things that should be happening in the second quarter. There's certain things that should happen in the third quarter. We should be reviewing what we didn't, the goals we didn't meet in the first quarter. We're moving those over to Q2. So all of that planning, I tell people that's the way to success. Really, that's the difference between having a vision and then bringing it to reality is a plan.
Right.
It's a plan. And it definitely grounds you because you get caught up in that everyday work, things start happening, then you just start running with your thoughts. And then sometimes you're like, wait, what was we doing again?
Right.
And then you could go back to the plan and, see exactly where you are. So I agree. What do you say to women who are afraid to pivot or reinvent themselves?
You gotta never be afraid of the pivot. How I got into branding was pivoting because I saw a need. And I think pivoting is power. I had a client that pivoted and she having $1 million months.
Shout out to her.
It's uncomfortable because it's like, this is what you know, this is what you're doing. But then the pandemic happens, things happen. So you can't be afraid of the pivot. You got to embrace it and just fix it. And rather fix it when you see it than fix it when you can't fix it.
Definitely. I think as entrepreneurs, leaders, CEOs, we have to realize it's a journey. Mm-hmm. It's not a final destination.
Right.
So it's like, you have to be able to move and go with the flow of things because the world changes, mindset changes, generation changes. AI is coming. That's going to change a whole...
Right.
I mean, AI is here.
Yeah.
That's going to change a whole lot of things, So it's like you have to be able to pivot if you want to stay successful.
For sure.
So you wear so many hats because you queen and you out here doing your thing. How do you stay grounded and focused on your mission?
Well, I don't really have a backup plan. And I know I can't be a stay-at-home daughter. So, I just don't really have a backup plan. Like, this is once I grasp my purpose, I just never look back.
Yeah.
And so I stay grounded and focused because, like, what else am I going to be doing? Like, I really can't see myself going back to work. I can't see myself switching industries. So I don't, this is all I see for myself. So it has to work.
Have to work. All right. So the second part of this segment is impact and legacy. So what does legacy look like for you when it comes to the work you're doing with Women Making History and your other businesses?
I just want to make textbook history in real time. Like, I don't feel like that we have to wait till somebody die for them to get recognized or whatever. So Women Making History is like super important to me. Like, I really see that being like, I got to get a Women Making History award if I'm in business. Like, just like you have to get a Grammy if you're in music. Yeah. And so I want it to be that scale.
That's big and that's beautiful.
Yeah, like getting the Oscar if you an actor, like if you in business getting a Women Making History award or entertainment and media, that type of caliber is where I see Women Making History going. And it's sometimes it's scary because it's really just like a platform that I'm building in real time. But I really think the legacy of that would be like 100 years from now. It's like getting a Grammy to a woman in business.
Yes, shout out to you. That's beautiful. Where do you hope to see your platforms in the next 3 to 5 years?
Definitely global. Definitely impacting millions of collaborations. Like, dang, like, oh, I joined Girl Boss Suites and I met with her and now we're both making 6 figures. Or, I'm still at my job, but I got a side hustle and I'm building generational wealth. Just the conversations, the community, the engagement to be global.
Girl, I love that you said that. And I guess that's why we align with the things we're working on together is because I get asked that question all the time. Or they say, where are you going to be in 5 years? And I'm like, global. Or Africa is typically my first answer.
Right.
And the way they look at me after I say that, because I just say that and I leave it there. And the interviewer is always like, and I'm like, well, you asked me, and that's where I plan to be. Yeah. Like, it's a part of my strategic plan. Now, do I know exactly how I'm getting to Africa? Not yet. Yeah, I ain't got there yet. But we're going to be there. Definitely. But I love the global. I love thinking big because I'm a big dreamer. And I used to wear a charm bracelet all the time where my dad bought me 2 charms and it said dream big and don't quit. And that's what I've lived by. Like, sometimes I feel like my visions are so big that when I'm talking to people, I feel like I'm talking to myself. Like, no one understands because they're like, wait, what? Yeah. Even when I first started doing this, people would ask me, what's a network? And I would get upset. I'm like, do you watch ESPN? You know what I'm saying? But I got to realize, like, my whole background is in finances. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like a financial person walking in and saying they're building a network. I get it. Yeah. But that's the big vision. And I just won't quit. It's going to happen. Right, it's happening. Straight up. So the last thing I have for you is if a young woman walked up to you today and said, I want to build a movement like you, what's the first piece of advice you're going to give her?
Why? I just want to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. And if they why makes sense and it sound good, then we can go from there. But just why, like not doing this because it look good, but like what's your why?
Definitely. So if you had to go back and talk to the 5th grader Tiara that was running her business in the 5th grade, what would you tell her?
Girl, you could really have slowed down a little bit. I just feel like I had to do everything now. Get this now. Get this. Like, Mom, I had to go to the store now. I have to have the most snacks. Like, everything was like now. And now that I'm here, everybody like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, no, this is just the beginning. Like, you know, so I could have been more present in the things that happened to me that are life-changing. But because it wasn't my end goal, I never like really stopped and smelled the roses. Like, even from last week, I'm still like, yeah, it's good. I know everything happened, but it's like, man, this could have been done. This could have been done. So I think that I need to learn how to.
That's good that you recognize that.
Yeah.
But that's why it was so important for me to kind of do this recap to give you your flowers, because I know as executors, like, I'm the same way. Like, I'll do an event or something happen. I'm just like, everybody's like, this is great. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm on to, if we would have did this, if we would have had this, you know, I'm just on to the next thing. And I've had to learn that you do need to be present and appreciate those moments. Because in the slow seasons or the seasons where God is like changing or having you sit and isolate with yourself and you think about those things, you're like, that was pretty cool. You know, like that was great. So I think that that's great that you recognize that. And as a woman, a Black woman, I want to give you your flowers for what you've built in all of your career, but especially what you were able to do last week here in Houston. So thank you. All right, so we're going to go ahead and close this out. Is there anything coming up? What you got coming up?
Execution Con.
Hey!
Yes, I'm so excited about that, to bring people together to dream, pray, and execute and take things to the next level in real time.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people are just being stopped by what they can't do because they're not understanding what they can do. So I'm super excited about that. This October 2025.
Yep, y'all be ready. Execution Con is something like y'all have never seen before.
Yes.
And I'm very happy to be partnering with you and doing this. So, yep, stay tuned, y'all. All right, so how can your audience connect with you, follow your journey, learn from you, be a part of your platforms?
Okay, yes, you can follow me at the Tiara LaRae and www.girlbosssweets.com, www.TLJAgency.com. You can connect with me, DM me, email me, whatever's best.
All right, and your last piece of advice to any entrepreneur, woman or man, anybody that's out here trying to build something from scratch.
Don't let the process take you out. Keep going. Your breakthrough is on the way.
Ooh, easy, simple, straight to it. So to all the women, men, everyone that's listening, if you're building something, like she said, just don't quit. You know, there's going to be trials. There's going to be things where you have to pivot, but that's a part of the journey. You know, what you start with is not what you finish with. So just make sure that you have a plan in place. Make sure you surround yourself with positive people and make sure that God is at the forefront. That works for me, you know. So thank y'all for tuning in to Business Talks with Jazmine J. It has been a pleasure to talk to my girl, Tiara Johnson, and we will catch y'all next time. Peace.